Hello guys, I apologize for that. Sorry about that. Yeah, I apologize for that upload earlier. I did not know it was only 4 seconds because I was kind of busy doing something and I didn't have time to come back and check to see what I did. But anyway, the title of it was seeing more and more people with root chakras on their head. Because I know we've been talking about, people have been talking about the reset, the reset, the reset. Now, a lot of us know that the Great Reset is them resetting the clock back to put people in another time loop because certain people in power don't want to give up their position. They don't want to move out the way. And so what they do is they keep putting people in time loops to mess with their consciousness and then set them back another 20 years again, 14 to 20 years. This is what they do. No, more than that, about like another 30 years. Okay? Set them back. Okay, this is what they do because they don't want to move out of their position, so they keep putting people in time loops. Okay, so that means the real year for some of us, the real actual year, could be like really what we're in. This could be like in like 2040, 2050. That could be where we really supposed to be, but because of a time loop previously with us, and if we, like I say, if you're not really high in consciousness, like above a 3D or maybe even 4D way of thinking or a consciousness, you wouldn't realize there'd be a time loop, and then you'll just wake up thinking it's 2018, or you'll wake up thinking it's 2010 or something like that. You wouldn't know the difference if your consciousness is not raised. And I see that with everything they're trying to throw, including the kitchen sink, they throwing everything at people. But I want to get with the root chakras because that's how I said, okay, this is how the time loop is going to work. They're going to reset the clock. They got to do. I have all these distractions. So some people use COVID like, okay, well, yeah, they want to low jack your consciousness and do all this and carry you to metaverse or whatever. I think COVID was a distraction. I think COVID did a lot, but I think COVID was an excuse for the change that they wanted to bring about for what they would want to call a new world order. But the new world order has been here since like 7,000 years ago or something like that. You know, the new world order has been here, okay? But I think COVID was used to bring about like a different type of system. Okay, but now I'm looking at the outrageous prices going on about the title. I'm looking at the outrageous prices with the title called "Seeing Root Chakras on People's Head." But what I mean by that is like I see people like just in the spirit, just in the spirit. I see them with a lot of these red caps on their heads, okay? Not in the physical. I'm just saying in the spiritual realm. I see people with these red caps, men or women. I see people with these red caps on their head. That has a lot to do with the root chakra to me. And I see what they had doing with these prices. The gas prices risen, like especially over here. Well, I'm in California, so it's going to be high anyway. But gas prices have gone up like over $1 in just a week. Food prices have gone up. A lot of stuff has gone up. Okay. I was looking on a video today in a middle upper class family that I'm used to watching. They need to downsize because things are getting expensive in their neighborhood. Their neighborhood is up in like their neighborhood is constantly being built up. The stores are being built around their neighborhood, and so the cost of living goes up around that area too. Okay, and so now they need to downsize. And I'm seeing this is going to happen with a lot of upper middle class people, but a lot of us knew that they wanted to move the middle class out the way. So you're either going to be rich or poor, right? Most people don't want to be poor because if you're in the poor section, then you're going to have a serious problem. You're not even going to be able to get the basics that you want out of life. It's hard for a lot of people right now as it is. But using this war as an excuse to raise up these prices and stuff, when everybody's pretty much in bed together, okay, but they want the masses to believe like something's really happening when everybody's in bed together. All those people are most likely in bed together. But the masses really feel like it's something really happening, and they have to suffer. They have to pay the outrageous prices, on top of paying their taxes and everything else, okay? And people are going to be so concerned with money. I would say, like, in the next few months, money is going to, if things keep going the way it's going right now, people are going to have to make a choice. Either they're going to be rich or poor. And the problem with the rich part, too, is that you have a bunch of entities that's currently running this world that believe in blood sacrifices, right? The entities that currently run this world believe in blood sacrifices, okay? And so they believe in sacrifices. So in order for you to really get what you want, oh my goodness, I'm just saying something. In order to really get what you want, as far as money, and with the way things are going now, with the way prices are going now, by next year, like $1 million won't even be enough to cover anything. You'll need like over $10 million. And then after that, you're going to need over $20 million. It's just going to go up if things keep going the way it is, okay? Like, you're going to have to be rich, okay? In order to get into that kind of category, a lot of people have to do blood sacrifices. That is the problem. What's happening with a lot of people right now is that people see that they're going to need a lot of money, and it's hard to just work a job and make it. So a lot of people join these cults, and these cults make them promises. But the problem is like, yeah, you can join our cult, you can join our brotherhood, sisterhood, whatever it is. But what you have to do once you get in is you have to do a lot of sacrifices. And they make all these promises, but you have to make blood sacrifices to get what you want. You see what I'm saying? And so it's getting real bad. It's people are being pushed into having to just be overly concerned with money, with the way things are going. And even if you leave and go to another country or whatever, you never know what the decisions those leaders might end up making over there, because a lot of leaders in a lot of these countries are very corrupt. Okay? If you go to a very poor country, it's best to go out there with already having money, because you can't get no job out there, okay? So now you got to go out there already having money or already having a job, okay? But like I said, anywhere where you have politicians, you have corrupt leaders, you never know what's going to happen, okay? Because all these leaders in government, they're all in bed together. So, you never know where to go. That's why I say the best bet is people to get together and create their own country or own state or whatever, and make your own rules, okay, without them being involved. Now that still could be a fight, because these people want total control. They want to control an ant. If they can control an ant, if they can control a gnat, they want to control it. So if people come together and say, well, let's create our own country, because we don't want to deal with what these politicians are doing. And if they say, people come together and do that and want to put together their own country, it's still going to be war. It's still going to be a battle, because these people that run this world, they want total control over everything. Even a lot of those tribes, like the Andaman Islands, like the Java tribe and all that stuff, where these people still live kind of it's what people would like to call primitive, but actually I call it they survive, and they're not domesticated. Actually, their survival skills are much better than ours, because we're domesticated. They're not. Okay? True enough, they might live like wild animals, but they know how to get food if they need to. They know how to get water. They're not pressed for water. They don't have to worry about no light bills. They don't have to worry about outrageous gas prices. So they're actually more advanced than we are. Okay? But see, you got a greedy people, greedy government, greedy leaders greedy people who run the world, who just want total domination over everything and don't want anybody else to have any freedom. They just want to rule over everything and everybody. Which brings me to a previous video that I did earlier today about manifesting. And it's like, okay, I forgot the title of it. But I was saying that do you really have to do what these people want you to do? Because these people, these entities want total control. And like, you can only create your reality so much with them in charge, okay? Because they understand how to time travel too. They understand how to open vortexes and portals too. They understand that too. So do you really want a reality with these current powers? Whoever they are, because they could be extraterrestrials, whoever they are, do you really want a reality with these current type of entities in it that they don't want anybody else to have freedom? They're so hungry for control that they don't want anybody else to have freedom. Because if those entities still run the world, you can only create your world so much. I mean, you can maybe get a house, but how is that going to look in the next 2 years with the way prices are looking? You're going to have to be filthy rich. And then in order to be that, you're going to have to probably sacrifice something. Because the current entities that's in charge, they have gods that they need you to sacrifice to. Okay? So they just can't be around. I mean, bottom line, they just can't be around. But yeah, the title, people, I was seeing more people with root chakras on their head. And then I was talking about the time loop. Because I remember last year, no, not last year, 2020, when that whole thing with George Floyd was kicked off. And I was like, I'm not seeing much information on this man for him to have such a record. Why am I not seeing any mug shots? I'm not seeing much about this man. Who is he for real? Okay. So I said, what's the point of all of this, right? And so the first thing that came to me was, they want to shut down people's heart chakra. Okay, so make people angry, get people in the uproar, and shut down their heart chakra. I say, what's the end goal? Is to shut down their crown. And I was like, well, how's that going to happen? Because this can only last so long. People are not going to be upset over this forever, okay? Okay, it's going to last a couple of months, 3 months, and then people will move on with their lives. So how are they really going to shut people down like that? Now I see. First they use the COVID to make the changes they want to change. Then they have this war. And now they have the prices hiking up. But this is kind of what happens with a certain political party too. But now they hiking up the gas prices, blame it on the war and all that stuff. Okay. And what's happening is people are getting desperate. They're not so desperate right now, but people are seeing it's hurting people. People who do Lyft, people who just do ride share, people who do deliveries, or even like truck drivers or just anything, taxi drivers, bus drivers. They keep hiking up the gas like that. They're going to make it hard for transportation. Then they're going to make the food prices hard. So they pushing people in their root chakra. Right now, people are being forced into their root chakra to the point where they can't pay attention to anything else. Okay? And when people are forced to be that low in consciousness because they have to figure out how they're going to survive, how they're going to be able to keep putting gas in their car, especially if they're doing some kind of ride share. But that's going to hurt other people too that maybe don't drive Lyft and stuff. Or maybe they don't do Uber Eats, DoorDash, or do other stuff like that. But that still hurts other people, because if those other folks can't afford to put gas in their car, and then you have truckers, the companies can't afford to pay for gas no more. Sorry about that. I cut on the car because it was sorry. I cut on the car because it was a little cold. But, so you have all these people that can't afford to keep putting gas in their car. Then what's going to happen for people who need a ride somewhere? If you need a ride, what's going to happen if you need food delivery? What's going to happen with the stores if the gas gets so outrageous that now the trucking companies can't afford to put gas in the trucks? What's going to happen with the taxis? What's going to happen with that if the fuel prices just continue to get so outrageous? So even if you don't work for any of these companies, it's going to affect you. If you need any of their services, it's going to affect you. That's going to push people into their root chakra, and that's how the reset is going to happen. And they're going to be able to reset the clock, and people's consciousness is going to be so low because they're going to be so concerned about how they're going to survive that this clock will be reset successfully, and you're going to go back 30 years again, and you're not even going to know the difference. Now, people are going to say, yeah, I'll know the difference. No, you won't, because we're already about 20, 30 years behind already. We're supposed to be in the year like 2040, 2050 right now. Okay, so no, you won't know. You won't know. I mean, people are raising their consciousness now, but the problem is, look at what they're doing with money. Look at what they're doing with the prices. Okay? If they keep going like this week after week, looking for an excuse to raise these prices on everything, then it's going to be like, I'm in upper middle class neighborhoods a lot. It's going to get to a point where they won't even be able to afford to live in the houses they live in. And you're going to have to be either rich or poor. And if you're poor, that's going to be a bad situation because you're going to barely afford to eat. And if you want to be rich, you might have to do something to get there, because you're going to need more than just $1 million. Okay? You're going to really need a lot of money, and you can't just work a job and get it. Okay? And then, look at how there's a constant, people's bank accounts are constantly being monitored. Money is constantly being monitored. So now you got to get in a certain tax bracket so you don't owe the IRS taxes. So now you got to be rich because of what's happening, because the price is outrageous. So now you have to make a choice to be rich. But what the problem is the taxes for you is going to be higher. So now you got to get in a tax bracket where you don't owe taxes. So what you got to do for that? You got to do sacrifices. Okay? So this is not going to work well. I already see that this type of world, it will not work for me. You can't be poor. That can't work out. And then you can't just be rich, because if you're rich, especially me, I don't have children. I'm in the highest tax bracket. So what good does it do for me to get a couple of $1 million if I have to pay 50% of it to the IRS? What good does that do me? I have to be in a tax bracket of almost $1 billion a year to avoid that. How am I going to do that? So this world is not going to work. This Western world it's not going to work out. You're being forced into your root chakra. You're being forced into survival mode. Okay? And the problem with that is this is the year that they want to do a reset. They want to reset people, put them back to sleep, and put them back 30 years again. And with people being low in consciousness like that, concerned about how they going to pay for stuff, it's going to work because they're going to be low in consciousness. Okay? But anyway, that's all I got to say, and I will talk later.